Hello guys, Smoothie here. DICE has released patch 3.1 this week, and with it, the long-awaited Manifest rework. I thoroughly played the rework for the past 2 days, and here are my thoughts on it. First, I have to mention that I pretty much only play Breakthrough, so I can't really tell you whether the rework made Conquest and Rush more playable or not. I did have a few games of Conquest on it and thought it played really well as infantry. Apparently, they changed the distances between objectives to reduce time on foot, but I still felt like I spent a large portion of the game walking around. I had to spawn a jeep several times to get to other objectives in time, but that is mostly a problem of Conquest in itself if you prefer infantry fights. Now as for Breakthrough, I must say I was very surprised. There are still a few issues I'm going to address, but at least the map is playable now. To me, it was easily the most frustrating map to play before. There were large areas of the map where you had to run across open spaces to get to the next objective, where you would die several times because there was literally zero cover. It seems like they were mostly able to fix that, especially the area between the ships and the container yard, which are now base 2 and 3, where you have lots of cover to use. The first base is back to where it was at the release of the game, which is nice to see, as it allows for longer rounds. I can't quite remember how that area looked before, as the last time I played it was over a year ago, but I do remember that attackers pretty much only had 2 ways to go and neither option offered any cover. It is way easier to push forward now. I've had really good infantry fights around this part of the map. However, there are still 2 small issues with this base. The cap area of A1 is far too big. I've had plays where I cleared out 6 or 7 enemies on one part of the cap area, and we still weren't able to capture it as there were another 5 or 6 on the other side of the objective. Also, the 2 objectives in the first base are very far apart. The further apart they are, the harder it is to capture both objectives at the same time. I would like to see some small adjustments there, even if just a smaller A1 cap area. The ship base is very fun to play now. They removed a couple of cranes so snipers have less spots to snipe from. They added a lot of cover in the harbor area in front of the ships as well, so it's easier to push up without getting shot at from enemies already up there. As already mentioned, the transition area from base 2 to 3 has seen some of the biggest changes and is very fun to play now. The whole container yard itself has been completely overhauled as well, which allows for better and more fair infantry fights. Another big change has been made in the last base on top of the hill. The cap area is relatively small and doesn't offer a lot of cover. It was in between 2 buildings before, and it was nearly impossible to cap the objective, as enemies were constantly in and on top of one of the buildings where they had an easy shot on you. They completely removed one building and replaced it with a broken radar telescope building. Please excuse me, I have no idea what they are exactly. Anyways, this was a very important change, as it is now a lot easier for the attackers to win a fight around that area. That was a quick overview of the Manifest rework with my thoughts on the changes, which are mostly great. However, I still have to mention that one thing still makes for a lot of frustrating moments on this map. Mackay. Due to his grappling ability, he is obviously still able to get onto every single shipping container or elevated position in the game, and is able to create angles you would never naturally check. I can confidently say if Mackay wasn't in the game, or at least not available on Manifest, this would be a really great map to play. As it is, it remains good. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed watching, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Our attack on Bravo 2 is underway.
Enemy down! Reloading!